Okay, guys, what's up? Michael Edward here, the head trader for True Trading Group. It is March 20th, a Friday. And with this video, I'm going to tell you what I think the market's going to do next. All right. I'm going to tell you guys what I think the market's going to do next week and what I'm going to do before the close, the position that I'm going to be getting into before the market comes to an end. And I'll explain to you guys why. First, let's talk about what the market has been doing for the last couple of days. For the first time, we've been trying to consolidate. All right, when I take you guys to the daily chart on the SPY, you can see this has basically been just a straight down, a bounce, and then a straight down with some pop days in between, but there's been no consolidation. These last couple days are the first days that we're trying to get consolidation, where the selling pressure had kind of taken a brief little pause and had slowed down. But no buying pressure has stepped in at that point. We have not had any real rally attempt to try to kind of signify this as a bottom and start to try to bounce off these levels. There really isn't any reason to. The news is not getting any better. The news is getting worse. State lockdowns are now coming into place. New York lockdown, California lockdown, New Jersey's probably next. And I think that over the weekend, we're going to get a drastic increase in number of cases in the United States. And I think that's going to scare the markets a little bit. And I think we're going to break below this little pivot low that we put in here on Wednesday. All right. So the way that I'm looking to play this is I'm looking for us to break below this consolidation area. And my target for the SPY is going to be somewhere down around 211, 213, somewhere in that region, which is the previous prior highs of 2015 and 2016 was a major resistance area for the markets. We finally got above that in the middle of 2016, pulled in the end of 2016. It held support, and then we rallied, and that was the Trump election, and then the market's gone up since that point. Okay, that's kind of where we are. All right, that's kind of where we are. All right, and I'm looking for us to get back down to retest this level. Okay, now that we are kind of below this previous pivot point. This was the low that people were looking for to hold. Well, we pierced through it 2 days ago and got back above it. Some people got excited, started to get long, but now here we are today in the afternoon session with 1 hour to go in the day, and we are back below this level. Today, if we close below this level, that's the first closing candle below that pivot low. You can see the day we pierced it, we closed above it. The next day we closed above it, and now today, here we are beneath this level, looking to close beneath it. I think that we are going to gap down on Monday and continue our sell-off. I don't think the bottom is in. I think we have some more room to the downside. What I'm going to be looking for is, I'm hoping, because right now I don't have the position, I'm hoping that we get a bounce back at the end of the day. Okay, the last 3 consecutive Fridays, we have rallied into the close. Okay, we've had a nice bounce into the close every single Friday. I'm looking for that same type of action. And right before the closing bell, if I get that bounce, I'm going to try to buy some put options next week as cheap as I can, either Monday or Wednesday expiration, probably looking at 235, 230 strike puts. And I'm going to try to get them right before the closing bell if I can get a bounce back in the SPY, because I think over the weekend, we're going to get a big increase in cases. You guys have to understand, someone that tests positive today got the virus 1 or 2 weeks ago. So our system is playing catch up. We just had New York went from like 4,500 to 7,100 cases overnight. I think we're going to see a massive jump in cases by Monday. And I just think that is going to scare the markets, make the markets feel that the spread is getting out of control, when in reality, we're playing catch up. Okay. When they say, okay, if there's 10,000 cases or 15,000 cases, whatever that is, that's not the actual number of people infected, because you can go 2 to 14 days without showing any symptoms. So you need to play catch up. And that's why I think that, what's going to happen is we're going to shut down everything. Schools, businesses, states are going on lockdown, but that doesn't mean the spread is going to stop immediately. You're going to play catch up with the spread for 2 weeks until you're going to start to see, does the lockdown and does the social distancing, is it helping? You're not going to be able to see that for at least 2 weeks, because the people that are already sick, once you went on lockdown and once people began practicing social distancing, they're already sick. They just haven't tested positive yet because they haven't showed any symptoms. So I think over the weekend, we're going to get this massive this massive increase in cases. And I think that takes the market lower. And I think once we get below and close below that 2018 December low, we close below it. I think we start to make our leg down lower next week. And I think the SPY can get down to the 2015, 2016 prior highs. And that's where I think our bottom sits. I think the low of this crash, and that's what it is, guys. It's a crash. I heard somebody yesterday calling it a correction. It's not a correction. It's a crash. We're down 32% from the previous all-time high. That's firmly in bear market territory. This is a crash, not a correction. And I think this is the area that I'm going to look for to be the bottom. All right. And I think next week we can start to make our way down that level. And I'm going to position myself with some SPY puts. You can also maybe go long the TVIX if you guys want to get long the TVIX instead of buying the put options. But the TVIX is starting to run out of steam. Fear is starting to come out of the market. You can see the TVIX has had a monster pullback, about a 50% pullback from 1,000 back to 500 in just 2 days. And that's because reality is starting to kick in. The fear, the first initial level of fear, okay, is out of the market. That was your fear. Now we'll probably get a little bit more fear as we go lower, but it's not going to be as severe as the initial down move, the initial shock wave. That initial shock wave has come to an end, and you're starting to see the TVIX start to react to that. And eventually the markets will come to the realization that, this is where we're at. This is recession. This is a sell-off. This is a crash, and that fear will start to subside. Even though the market may go lower, fear will start to not go up as much as the market will go down, like it did in a closer correlation when the markets were first selling off. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll keep you guys updated on that trade, and we'll see what happens on Monday. Take it easy, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Be smart. I'll see you guys in chat.